Alright, today I'm going to be assembling the FPV Tilt Camera Mount with landing gear from HobbyKing. This is one that I completed earlier, as you can see. Yeah, really reliable mount. I actually haven't mounted it on anything yet. And then in the box you get what the mount's actually made up from, and then 4 smaller packages containing the nuts, the bolts, and some other things which you need to make the product work. Also, you get a lot of these air packages to help in the protection when it's been shipped, so it's unlikely that anything will get broken. Alright, so also with the assembly you're going to need an adjustable spanner, potentially a knife just so you can trim off some of the edges off the cuts. And 2 Allen keys. You need a 2mm Allen key and a 1.5mm Allen key. Alright, so these are all the parts that you get in the main big package over here. There's quite a few of them, but just for the start of the build we're only going to need a couple, so we'll just put away the rest of these parts just for now. Alright, so the only parts that you need for now are the landing skids and the parts which go up to the main part of the frame. And the way that you put these together, that you get the landing skid and obviously one of these. It doesn't matter, they're all the same size and length, so it doesn't matter what way you put it. The only thing that does matter, however, and these just slide in like that, the only thing that does matter is that when you're building them, these little notches on the inside, so that's going to be the left hand mount, if you like. And then with this one you've got to make sure that the notch or the bits on the inside are in fact facing the inside, so you haven't got 2 identical skids. So in the end you get something like that. I'm not pushing them all the way through for the moment because I want to use this for spares for the existing one. So we've got that right there, and then with the other pieces we get one of this piece here and this piece here. So this piece here is the front, and it just clips in like so. Obviously if I was doing this for a proper build I would take a little bit more care. Yep, so that's all clipped in at the moment, so that's actually almost complete with the main part of your frame. Now you need one of these pieces here, and this is where you start to need the nuts and bolts. Just going to open bag 1 for the moment. Tip out, there we go, that's all of them. Alright, so there's actually 3 different types of screws in here. It's a really long screw, like that. We're just going to put that away for now, and there's 2 of those. Then there's these kind of really short one, I think they're 1.5mm wide, maybe 2mm I think, like that. Then there's also one of the same diameter but a little bit longer. And then there's the standard one which we're going to be using lots of, and there's lots of those. Alright, just opening the bolts now. Got those. Again, there's 2 different, there's 2 different types. There's the really big or the normal kind here, and then there's the small kind. And also you've got these spacer rings which I haven't really figured out a purpose for, but yeah, I don't know, they're useful I guess. Alright, now with this, it doesn't really matter which way this has to go on the underneath side according to the instructions on the website HobbyKing. It doesn't matter really which way the nuts and screws go. but I'm just going to put the screws up from the underneath. These are threaded screws, so you really need to make sure that you've got the nut the right way up. Yeah, that's, and then you can just put the 4 bolts and screws in here, nuts and screws, sorry, like so. I'm not going to put all of them in just to save time. But yeah, there's 4 which need to go in there in the corner holes from the underneath, and then you can tighten them using the an Allen key. So yeah, just tighten that on there, and an Allen key from the underneath. Alright, now for the construction of the gimbal, you're going to need one of those pieces there, and then you'll also need the one of these. Don't confuse it with this piece here. So for this, we're going to actually need to open bag 3. Bag 3 contains all the stuff you need for the gimbal mostly, plus bag 4. So yeah, this is all the stuff you get. You get these rubber spacer rings, and these hooks which go onto the linkage rods for controlling the servo for the tilt movement, and you get these washers here. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab this piece here, and then this one, and then we're going to put this piece on the inside. So this is actually going to be the left hand side of our gimbal, so it's going to clip on somewhere around there. Alright, so because you've got a rather wide hole in the middle there, you're just going to chuck that washer just on the inside there. I'm not going to push that in fully. Alright, and then yep, that's going to go on the inside there. Going to grab the normal screw, not the big or the small kind. We're just going to stick that through from, again, it doesn't really matter, but I prefer that to be on the inside. Grab a nut, and then just twist that on there, and depending on how tight you tighten it, you can get different levels of friction for the gimbal, which allows it to move less, more or less. Alright, so that's one side of the gimbal done. Now for the side which the servo is going to be attached to, unless you want to have fixed. So for this, you're going to need this part here, which has these, and you fit the servo in there if you want to. Alright, so we're going to grab the long screws this time, and this is going on the right hand side, again with the smaller piece on the inside of the thing. And this time it is very important, you've got to put the screw on the inside there. Now we're just going to open up bag 4. This wouldn't be necessary if you want a fixed position. You can just use a normal screw and then lock that off, but this is just for the gimbal control. So there you have it, bag 4. You've got this T piece which you attach the linkage rods to. You've got these screws here which again screw into the T piece. And then the spacer, long spacer here, and another short spacer there. Plus these two, there's 2 of these things here. I haven't actually figured out what they're for yet, but let me know if you do figure out what they are for. Alright, so we're just going to grab this here, and we're going to, over here where the, where is it, the washer, just going to put that on again. There we go. Alright, so that fits on in there, and then we're going to use the short spacer to go on in there, and then the T is going to go on, like so. And then just put a nut on that. Wonderful. And then you can tighten that up if it is necessary to tighten that up, but I'm not going to now. Now you're going to grab another one of those long screws and put it through this hole here, like so. And then that's actually going to fit into the bottom of the T. And before you do that, the long spacer is going to go in between that, so you can just put that there and poke it through. Then you're just gonna grab the nut and put that on just to make it, and then tighten it as per usual. Wonderful. Right, so you've got your the other side of the gimbal there now, and we're going to attach the linkage rods to this later. But for the moment we're actually going to just join this up to the other main pieces. Alright, so for this part here you're going to need just this piece, and it's just a simple process of joining them. So this piece here is going to go on the model's left hand side. It doesn't really matter what side you put it on, but this is the way that I prefer. These bits here are actually harder to get on than normal. Sometimes also if you just get a knife or something of that, you can just trim off the edges on that. Alright, so just with the problems we encountered earlier, we're just going to grab a knife, like so. Now we're just going to grab this edge and just be very careful while you do so. Just start trimming off the sides, just on a nice angle, so it makes it really easy for the piece to go in. Alright, so let's try this now, see if it works. Okay, we got it part of the way there. Well, obviously not. That might just hold there for now, but at home when you've got a little bit more time, you can get that sorted, do a little bit more trimming as you go, and get that fitting nice and tightly. Just the same to the other side. You want to make sure that the T-junction's on the outside. That's very important. Whatever you want to call it. Alright, so both of those are kind of half-ish, not even half on. That's kind of one of the disadvantages of buying product for only 99 cents, or 10 cents. I see that they've discounted it to even now. Yeah, so that's kind of working at the moment, and now you're just going to need the final plastic piece here just to join them at the top. Again, it's going to be a bit of a struggle off memory. Generally the second one getting in is harder than the first because you've already got the added complication of extra pieces being in your way. Okay, so that's a sort of half finished gimbal-ish, not even. Yeah, if you do some cutting you get some white dust from the plastic. Yeah, so that moves pretty freely at the moment, but if you want to add a fixed position, all you have to do is line it up over here, and then using this pieces here, you just put a screw in like that, and now it's fell apart, falling apart on me, but now that can't move there at all, which effectively locks it, which is useful for FPV or something like that. And then you can attach your camera to one of the slots in there. Alright, and now for the attaching the servo. We've got all the parts here, but it's pretty self-explanatory just on this one. Yeah, you just nail your servo to the empty gap there, like so. Unfortunately, one of the disadvantages of this product is that you miss the screw, which is necessary to link the rods there. It's actually 1.5mm apart, which makes it hard to find in hardware stores or something. The minimum you can get is usually 2, so I'm just working on a way Now, the alternative to this is that if you buy two of these products, which is not very much considering they're only 99 cents, and they're quite vulnerable to break as well, so quite nice to have some spares. So exactly what I'm doing now is that these linkage rods are 1.5 mils wide, so you can just screw them in there. Yeah, that's really the only alternative I can think of. These miniature screws here don't fit, they're too wide. Yeah, and then so those link up to there, and then you can just plug this into your receiver and flight controller, and then you can just operate it on a spare channel on your transmitter. And then to get the linkage rods, you get the T-junction here, and then get these linkage rods plus these plastic pieces here, and they just screw in. They're actually linkage rods, alternate threads, so they don't come undone mid-flight, which is a bit of a hassle to for assembly, but very good when you're flying, so you know that it won't come apart. Alright, and then once you've screwed that in there, you're pretty much good to go. Using your landing gear, you can fit that up into there with just two of your normal standard screws and bolts, just on the top there. So if you want to, you can loosen them, and just while you're assembling, you can take it on and off, which is what I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, once you've got that screwed in, you can actually vary its position on there, and then tighten your bolts, and then yeah, attach it to your multi-rotor. It's suited for about 500 class multi-rotors, and you're good to go. I actually haven't flown with this before, but I've heard from a lot of people that it's prone to breaking, so yeah, I would extremely recommend just buying another set or two of these, just so you've got your spare parts, and then you can yeah, so if something does break, you actually fix it with a part that costs probably a cent. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, like, and if you've got any questions, put it in the comments. Yeah, really great product from HobbyKing, the FPV Tilt Camera Mount with landing gear. Very good value for only 10 cents or $1. Yeah, so good work from HobbyKing for bringing this product to us. Thank you.